Nick was already outside, leaning on the horn. She lingered at the doorway, keys in hand, lips glossy, her eyes sliding past mine as though I wasn't there. "Come on," she said casually, like she was introducing me to a casual acquaintance from a yoga class, not the man she'd been sleeping with. My grip tightened around the coffee mug. "If he steps into this house," I said in a calm, steady voice, "I'll put him in the hospital. And if you walk out with him now, you'll carry that regret for the rest of your life." She blinked twice. Then came a laugh, not from humor, but from disbelief that I had finally spoken the words out loud. And still she opened the door. I first met Elise 7 years earlier, on a crisp autumn afternoon. She wore a mustard yellow coat, and smiled like someone who had never been bruised by disappointment. I was the grounded one, the anchor she leaned on. She used to say I made her feel safe without ever demanding proof of her worth. 3 years later, we married. I bought a modest house tucked in a quiet neighborhood. I painted the porch with my own hands. On Sundays, she would hum old melodies while watering the garden. Back then, I thought that was love. I thought that was happiness. But the cracks came slowly. Late nights at the gym. Silent phones that vibrated in her purse. Laughter at things I hadn't said. One evening, her phone lit up on the couch. I reached for it, but she snatched it back so quickly it nearly slipped from her hand. "Privacy matters, babe," she whispered. "Of course," I said. Then came the scent, cologne that wasn't mine. Stronger, bolder, clinging to her coat like a dare. I said nothing. I simply watched. The truth revealed itself one night, when she left her laptop open. In her Google Maps history was a riverside hotel, visited twice that month. The dates lined up perfectly with her supposed work dinners. Her lies weren't clumsy. They were polished, rehearsed. That's what cut deepest. Not just the betrayal, but the joy on her face when she was with him. I stopped sleeping. I didn't shout, didn't break things, didn't beg. I remembered who I was, the man she once leaned on as if I were home. I wasn't fire. I was tide. Quiet. Relentless. And the tide always pulls back in its own time. So I hired someone, not to spy, just to collect facts. Screenshots. GPS records. Photographs. She didn't even bother with a false name at the hotel. Meanwhile, I began moving money into a separate account little by little. She never noticed. The deed to the house had always been mine, signed before we were married. She had laughed at the prenup, barely reading it. Then I waited. That morning, she wore red lipstick. Elise only wore red when she wanted to feel powerful. She walked toward the door in silence. I didn't speak, until her hand touched the knob. "If he steps in here," I repeated, firm as stone, "I'll break his jaw. And if you leave with him, you'll regret it for the rest of your life." Her smile wavered for just a second. But she walked out anyway. I stood at the window, watched her slide into Nick's car. She didn't even glance back. 10 minutes later, I made the calls. My lawyer filed for divorce, attaching every piece of evidence, dates, photographs, texts. Copies of the hotel receipts went straight to HR at her office. Nick, it turned out, was her direct supervisor. The company had a zero-tolerance policy for office affairs. Within 2 days, they were both suspended. I changed the locks, packed her belongings neatly, and had a courier deliver them to her sister's place. When she came back that Sunday evening, mascara smeared, looking hollow, she found a note taped to the front door. "You bet your future on Nick. Go ahead. Cash it in." She called. She texted. She left voicemails. It didn't mean anything. He's scared. I don't even know where he is now. I never responded. 3 weeks later, I saw her again. Court. She looked smaller, worn down by life. Her lawyer asked for the house, for alimony. My lawyer simply produced the prenup, along with the photographs, timestamps, and her company's code of conduct. The judge didn't even hesitate. She walked away with nothing. As I left the courtroom, she followed me to the elevator. "Was any of it real?" she whispered. I looked at her. Really looked, for the first time in a long while. "You tell me," I said. "You're the one who walked away." The elevator doors closed. I didn't turn back. Some people gamble everything on a lie, convinced they'll never have to pay. Elise learned the truth only when the cost came due. You only get one man who would take a bullet for you. After that, all that's left are shadows of what could have been.